This question comes from Daniel, who noticed that people often say things like, "If I had all the money in the world," as a way to dream about what they'd do without any financial limits. Naturally, that leads to a much more interesting question. What would actually happen if you literally had all the money in the world? Now, we're not going to worry too much about how you collect it all. Let's say you've invented a kind of magical spell that summons every bit of money to your location. Boom. Magic. But before we get too excited, let's define money. Most of the world's wealth isn't actually physical money. It's in the form of property, businesses, land, stock markets, patents, crypto wallets, digital bank records. You get the idea. So let us say your spell can alter all digital property records on Earth to say that you own everything. All of it. Every deed, every dollar in every bank, all the NFTs, all the private islands. But here's the problem. No one else would agree. People would just change the records back or ignore them entirely. Because money, at its core, is an idea. It only works because everyone agrees on what belongs to whom. Without that consensus, even magical ownership means nothing. You can't force the world to believe your version of the idea of wealth. So let's scale things down. Forget the abstract stuff. Let's say you just want the physical money. Cash, coins, paper bills. Something you can actually hold. Something you could maybe swim in, like Scrooge McDuck diving into his gold vault. At any given time, there's a limited amount of physical currency in the world. Right now, it's somewhere north of $10 trillion. And you want it all. But here's the twist. Once you have all the cash, you probably can't use it. No one's going to accept your money since they no longer have any of their own. Money only has value if there's an economy to participate in. Still, at least you'd be rich in an extremely literal sense. So, let's go ahead with this spell. You summon every bill and coin on Earth to a single spot. What you get is a gigantic mountain of money, taller than the Statue of Liberty and heavier than the Empire State Building. Definitely don't stand underneath it when it appears. For safety, let's say you're watching from a safe distance, or at least what seems like a safe distance. Most of the weight in that pile comes from coins, and a huge chunk of that is thanks to the U.S. penny. There are likely more than 200 billion pennies in existence, weighing over 500,000 tons. Although, to be fair, calling them in circulation is generous. Most of them are gathering dust in drawers, jars, and couch cushions. Canada actually eliminated the penny a while back, and hardly anyone noticed. All told, U.S. coins and bills make up about 20% of the total weight, while the European Union contributes around 25% with its various euro coins and notes. But here's the thing. The pile doesn't stay a pile. Remember the Great Molasses Flood of Boston in 1919? A giant storage tank of molasses burst, and although molasses is thick, the resulting wave rushed through the city faster than people could run, knocking over buildings and tragically killing 21 people. Now, picture that, but with money. As your mountainous heap of coins collapses, it doesn't just fall. It flows outward in all directions. A tsunami of money, carrying millions of tons of metal and paper with it, sweeping across the land with terrifying momentum. Pennies, quarters, loonies, euros, an unstoppable avalanche of wealth pulverizing everything in its path. And you? You were standing too close. Within seconds, the wave hits you, and that's the end. But let's say you're smart. You build a containment wall before casting the spell, something to keep all that money in place. You survive. Yay. But now you face a new threat. Not physical destruction, something far more bureaucratic. Building code violations. In cities with massive skyscrapers, like Manhattan, you need solid ground that can support enormous weight. And if you flip through New York City's massive building code manual, you'll find that piling up trillions of dollars in cash is a serious problem under Section 1806, which regulates allowable load-bearing values for soil and rock. In other words, your vault full of money could collapse the ground beneath it, unless, of course, you're Scrooge McDuck. Which makes us wonder, just how much did Scrooge have to bribe the city inspectors to build his gold-filled money pool?